Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Brain Boggled podcast with BB and J, with a special guest of E.
Hello.
I am the J, Jack.
I am the B, Bobby.
I'm another B named Brent.
And I'm the E, Ethan.
Whoa,
I'm not the squee. I want to officially back off from the whole squee stance.
You don't want to commit to that.
It was a fun joke the first time. I don't know if I necessarily want to be associated with the dude who was friends with the dude who was like raping people when they were drunk,
Okay.
So,
That's fair.
I don't know. Maybe I don't want to be Squee. That's all I'm saying.
Not funny.
As fun of a name as Squee is, I don't know if I really want to be Squee. Squee is problematic.
So you're not the Squee anymore.
I don't know if you heard, but Squee was canceled. So
Squee was canceled.
Squee was canceled. No more Squee.
So yes, we are BB, E, and J.
BB.
Yes,
Special
BB
guest.
and J, with a special guest of Ethan, our good friend Ethan.
I'm
Thanks for
quite
being here,
special.
Ethan.
Of course, my
He's
pleasure.
so special.
I'm indeed quite special.
what are we talking about today, Ethan?
I don't know, Jack. What are we talking about?
Well, it's funny you should ask. Today we're talking about something that I have a very deep love of, which is ARGs.
Now, Jack, what does ARG mean?
ARG stands for Alternate Reality Game.
Oh, well, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so an ARG is basically it's an interactive form of media, most commonly videos and stuff. But it's been around since the late 90s because people do it in like movies and promotional material and stuff. But basically, what it is these people create subtle hints in different forms of media that lead you on. That are these clues that lead you to solving a mystery. You, as the consumer of this media, are meant to solve the mystery.
Is it kind of like Trick cereal? Like when I was a kid.
What?
Listen, hear me out, boys.
Let's follow this thread.
When I was a kid, I used to love Trick cereal
And
because
it is true that Tricks is for kids, right?
it is for kids. And guess what? The silly rabbit used to steal the tricks, and you had to watch to
a
see for
silly
hidden clues to find
fucking
out
rabbit.
what happened to the tricks.
Damn rabbit
That
is so
is
silly.
that's honestly along the right path,
Yes.
except
Not.
It's wrong in every way, but not in some ways.
ARGs are normally really, really creepy and weird and kind of a little bit spooky.
Maybe the rabbit was a little creepy.
Don't-
He was very
I
mean,
creepy. I had many nightmares.
He did hang around
I
kids
especially
quite
don't
a bit.
like the refresh one. Remember when they refreshed him and they made him more sleek and hip? I didn't
Yeah.
like that.
Wait,
What?
was he hasn't? I thought he was always sleek.
See, I'm
You mean
I'm
the-
He was
eldest-
always on speed.
Do you mean the
in my
recent
eye.
refresh?
The listeners at home won't know this, but I'm kind of the elder statesman here
Yes.
amongst the brain bogglers.
the oldest
Is
and
that gonna be
wisest.
Are we the
Brain
brain
bogglers?
bogglers?
Yes.
Like what are we? But so I'm a fair amount older than the rest of these gents, and so I remember a time when the Tricks Bunny was this more. He had more of like a Looney Tunes vibe about him.
Yeah.
and then like I don't remember exactly when, but he got a refresh where he became more sleek and hip. He had more of like a Fairly Odd Parents, sort of like that more kind of simplistic, more simplistic cartoon art style, and less more like you know what I mean.
This
like,
is the sleek,
it had, like,
silly
more-
rabbit.
That's
Oh,
the new
okay,
one?
yeah.
What's the old one?
The old
That's the
one
only
was
one I
like a
know.
nice, friendly gentleman.
yeah, it's just,
Nice, friendly gentleman. Slowly killing us with diabetes.
See, he was just a little more friendly.
Oh,
yeah. You see,
oh,
he,
like
he,
in
he
that-
had almost
oh,
like
oh,
a,
okay.
he had almost like a Dr. Seuss vibe
like a-
about
like
him
a-
in the older days.
yeah.
when you said the Tricks Rabbit, I had Roger Rabbit in my head.
Oh my god! Yeah, fair enough.
Okay,
Listen, who framed
Anyway,
him?
let's
That's
move on
what
to
I want to know.
ARGs. So
It's all related.
It's all related. So they're really creepy. They're really weird. Don't listen to this podcast at night, or you might pee your pants.
Oh.
Hey, peeing your pants is cool. Then call me Miles Davis. I'm derailing this episode so hard right now. I'm operating on very low sleep. Sorry, Jack. Take it away. I'm not going to talk for a minute.
So they give you these subtle clues. So if we're going along with the tricks thing, it would be like once you finish your tricks bag, your bag of cereal, you take the cereal out of the box, you throw the bag away, and you would like break down the box to go recycle it. On the inside of the box, there would be like a small little note that'd be like, "Kill your family, follow the rabbit." And you'd be like, "Oh my god,
That stepped up a notch real fast.
Yes,
Wow.
silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids." And so basically, the most recent one that we've consumed together as a podcast crew and also as friends,
As a family. 'Cause
we're buds.
Hey, when you're here, your family at
when
Brain
you're here,
Boggled.
your family at Brain Boggled. We just like Olive Garden, sponsored by Olive Garden, not actually. If they want to sponsor us, hey,
listen,
leave it open.
I'll take some endless breadsticks and soup.
I'm a celiac, but I will still support.
You can get the salad and maybe the soup.
Endless salad.
Maybe the soup. Maybe
Some soups.
maybe a nice pasta fajoule. Like not the pasta. Never mind, pasta. Sorry, I should know this.
So the one that we watched most recently is the one called Ashvlogs, and so I'll use Ashvlogs to explain the greater concept easier. So the way that Ashvlogs takes the ARG is, she started her channel as this just like your everyday like quirky, relatable vlog channel. Like, hey, like her first video is titled like, "Oh, I'm starting a vlog channel. How original!" Like, she's very self-aware. Honestly, if she was just a vlog channel, she'd be pretty funny. She'd be pretty entertaining.
Her vlogs are not bad vlogs.
They're not. I mean, they're short and which is like, it's nice, and they're really like, they're pretty funny. Her editing style is actually really
honestly,
good.
I think some people could take a few tips from her vlogs and keeping them short and sweet.
Seriously,
I feel like some vlogs get a little lengthy, a little much.
Bring it down from an hour and a half of footage.
this is getting
This
personal.
is not related to anything in particular.
No, of course not.
But anyway, yes. Yeah. So Ashvlogs is very interesting. Very great editing, actually. I have to say so
it's
myself.
really really well
clever,
done,
fun.
And you're watching her, like, you could stumble upon her videos and be like, oh, whatever. And like me, I don't normally read descriptions of videos unless I'm like really interested in whatever. And so you watch her video and you notice that there's just like a YouTube link in her description that just says click. Her first video is her just sitting on her couch in front of a camera, like talking, being like, "Hey guys, I'm Ash. I'm introducing myself." Blah 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 blah. And then the video is like, in the description it's unlisted and it's on the Ashvlogs channel, and it's someone at a laptop on the Ashvlogs upload page in this like rundown abandoned building. There's trash everywhere. It's dark.
They're alone.
They're alone.
Or so you think.
Yeah, and it's so weird.
And I guess to kind of clarify, you mean like the link in the description of the video, right?
The YouTube link in the description of the video leads you to this unlisted video that has this weird broken down building. And you're like, what the heck is up with that? And I didn't find this as it was being uploaded, but the description was not edited to later have this. It was uploaded with this description, with this link in the video. So that's when the first sort of like, you're like, what's going on here? There's some sort of like, okay, maybe it was just some sort of some issue, whatever.
Some accident.
Yeah, some accident. Maybe she like had who knows. So then her next video comes out and it's called "The Lamest Adventure Ever," or something along those lines. And there's footage of her like that she took of herself climbing over a fence, and then she goes into this abandoned mill and she explains how she almost got caught by the police or whatever. And you're like, oh my god, Ash, you're so adventurous.
Just your typical vlogger, being
just
rebellious.
Your typical 20-something exploring the world. And
if I had to say so myself, she's pretty cute.
She's a cutie. She's a cutie.
I'd ask her out. I'd ask her on a date. I'd take her to Olive Garden.
I'd take it to Olive Garden for the endless salad and breadsticks, please. Olive Garden, sponsor us.
I'll spring for some chicken fettuccine.
So this description video leads you to another unlisted video. I think it's titled "I'm Watching You," or something like that. But basically, it's then like a stalker POV of her going through this adventure.
Jack, can I make a little suggestion here?
Yeah.
I think we should go through this. I think we should pull it up.
We should pull it up and
go through
every
it while
time.
we're talking about it.
We'll pull through it. So
there's nothing like seeing it firsthand.
Yeah.
And I really recommend, if you guys are not driving or trying to go to sleep or in the shower at home, we're going to leave links to this channel so you can walk through this with us.
I will say, watch it at the gym and get real freaked out, though. You're running on your treadmill and you feel like someone's directly behind you or something.
You're going to start running faster. You're going to burn more calories.
You're going to get a serious workout, my guy. Whew.
Oh, no. So it's just like one of those like video file default names, which is really creepy. But it's got all this video distortion.
All these like weird glitches and like weird
and you see
sounds and everything.
You see Ash and like you see a girl who you don't like. You think it's Ash. You can't like. There's not 100% confirmation, but you see her doing the same actions from a different angle as she was doing in her video. So you know it's her.
Oh, they found us.
Oh my god! Oh, that genuinely scared the crap out of me. If you guys couldn't hear that, an ambulance or a fire truck
just went by,
with a siren
sirens
just went
blaring.
by, and it scared me really bad because it sounded like someone crying a little bit, and I had the video muted that I'm watching. It really scared me. So
these videos are really creepy.
Things are getting spooky.
yeah,
in here.
so
Spooking my bones.
you see her, and you're like, what? So you know somebody's watching.
Yeah,
her.
you're basically watching her through the perspective of like a stalker with their camera, following her along on her vlog. It's very like, it's like unsettling just seeing like the vlog from a different perspective.
Yeah, Sleep.exe is not responding as her third video, and she talks about how her neighbor's baby is crying. I think you meet her neighbor in Lamest Adventure Ever.
That's the one where she talks to the wall.
Yeah, she has it. Her walls are really thin, and she has a neighbor named Kate who she talks to through the wall who has this baby. And we'll talk more about Kate later. Because Kate gets more she gets more entwined into the story. So this whole time you're meant to believe that this is actually happening to Ash. And so since these videos are being uploaded at the same time with their description, you're like, what's going on? Is it like so they're being uploaded together. So these videos are all like you think these videos were recorded a long time ago and are now just being uploaded. So her videos just go on regularly. Sleep.exe is not responding. Most interesting day. She like talks about her going to work. I don't believe this one. Oh no, this one does have a thing. It's just some distorted footage of a car. And I assume that might be in some house. It might be where she works. It might be outside her apartment building.
But something you mentioned, Jack, that's very interesting is like it kind of settles down a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
Like it kind of goes back to being like a normal vlog channel.
Yeah, there's a few videos that don't have any description videos that are weird. The first thing on the main channel is her 5th video called "A Strange Car Guy Outside Is This Content." She's so self-aware and quirky. It's adorable.
Yeah, you got the nice little like parrot graphic that she does.
Yeah, it's an Eric Andre reference. This is from Bird Up. This whole sequence is from Bird Up. But so there's a guy in a car outside her apartment building. She thinks it's just someone else who lives in some other apartment. Maybe they're waiting for someone, but they're outside from like 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And you're like, okay.
Which in itself is pretty weird.
Yeah, which in itself is pretty weird, but especially within the context of everything else, you're like, okay, so this must be the guy who's watching her. Later you then she just has more videos. She does like a draw my life thing. She does until we get to the collab announcement. Ooh. And the collab announcement pulls in this other channel. Oh my god, I cannot believe I can't remember the name
other
of the
ARG channel.
No, it's not another ARG channel. This channel has like 5 million subscribers that got tied into this.
Well,
I thought it was the other ARG channel. Was it not?
No, I'm Kate is the other ARG channel that is tied into this.
Right.
So later in this whole story, her neighbor Kate gets a YouTube channel, and you start to see from her point of view. And she talks.
Is it Raka Raka?
Raka Raka.
Yeah.
It's Raka Raka. So Raka Raka. We'll talk again. We'll talk about Kate later. I keep getting. My brain is boggled all over the place. Okay, so she does this collab announcement, and she's like, "I'm going to collab with this really big YouTube channel,"
and they are huge. They do have like 5 million subscribers.
Yeah, and they do those Ronald McDonald parody videos where Ronald's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you all!" Oh! You know, you ever seen those?
Wait, Raka Raka does that?
It's apparently. I mean,
I don't know if I've seen those.
Because I'm
an old man though.
Ronald McDonald wants a fight.
I haven't looked into those.
Got these.
They do like stupid like bro vlog.
Is this like weird like bro pranks and
yeah,
stuff?
They do
oh
a
my
little
god!
Bit of, like
here's
pranks.
Logan Paul in one of their videos.
Yeah.
That should show.
So she was going to do like the thing is though that they're cool because they got in on this. Because she was supposed to do a collab with them, and so you through her channel alone, you actually never find out who she was supposed to collab with.
Yeah, she just like kind of offhandedly like mentions like a bigger YouTuber that she's going to collab with.
One of Raka Raka's videos, they mention like, I was supposed to do we were supposed to do a collab with Ashvlogs, but she's not getting back to us. So we're just gonna do this other thing instead, where we investigate this creepy thing that we saw. And so that's how they tied in. And so the Raka Raka YouTube channel had the main guy's sister had someone on Instagram continuously it was through Reddit. They were continuously contacting them with these weird cryptic messages, and the Raka Raka YouTube channel was able to decrypt them and figure out that they were leading them towards an Instagram account with the name She's More Beautiful with Her Eyes Closed, which is really weird.
Yeah, that's a
red flag.
Definite red flag.
Creepy.
And it was all these pictures of the sister edited to look all beat up and bloody and stuff. And so
they did a reacts video with the sister, right?
Yeah, they did like a sister reacts to this thing, and they were like, whoa, this is really weird. And the Reddit's account name was I Know Where She Is. And so that I just gave myself goosebumps. No
I know,
joke.
that's chilling.
So they keep in contact with I Know Where She Is. They eventually get other messages to meet them in these woods at this specific time. And so they do some research and find out that somebody died in these woods in like 2015 or something. So they go and they see all these symbols around.
Man, this is turning into straight up a season of True Detective now.
Right?
Yeah, for real.
Seriously.
Yikes.
It's real fun.
That's a weird reaction, but sure.
It's real fun to look through.
It's so weird.
If you're bored, it'll definitely entertain you.
It's definitely like. So they end up going meeting these people in the woods, and they have this tent made of a tarp with this symbol spray painted all over it. And the people are like, we told you to come alone. And then the Raka Raka guy like yells back, I think he's British or something.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm live streaming this right now. There's people who can see this.
It sounds totally Australian.
I know it's Australian.
Yes, can you see this? Yes,
I'm in a play
we're live streaming.
Right now where I
Yes,
have to,
we're
like,
live streaming.
do a
Live.
British accent. And I can't. Oh my god, I can't even do it.
Do you come from a land down under?
Down.
And they're like, you were supposed to come alone, and
Sorry,
he was like,
Australians.
We love you.
he
You
was
guys
like,
are great.
I'm live streaming this right now. There's hundreds of people watching, so if you do anything, they'll know. And they're just like, you're supposed to come alone. You disobeyed our orders. And then like out of the darkness, like 3 more people come out, and they all just walk off. And then this Raka guy goes up to the tent, and there's really nothing inside the tent. It's just more symbols and more tarp. So that's where the Raka thing ends. He has a few more videos where he's trying to keep it going, but his thing ends there.
But there is one video where he does say like, "Oh, I was supposed to meet up with this YouTuber."
Yeah. We had mentioned. So that's what started this,
right? But then he's like, "But she never got back to me."
Yeah, she never got back to me, and so you're like, "Huh." She never got back to me. Somebody else is uploading Ash's videos with their extra videos in the description. She was supposed to do this collab but never got back to them. There's a Reddit user called I Know Where She Is. And so soon all of them start adding back up together, and you're like, oh my God. So these people kidnapped Ashvlogs. Well, we'll just skip ahead in some of her videos to the important ones where she has lunch with her brother at one point.
This is where it gets real creepy.
She has lunch with her brother and doesn't show his face. That is the point that she does not show his face. She meets her friend in a video called "The Worst Uber Driver Ever," and then in this video called C2F.exe, she gets this package. She had actually gotten the package in a previous video that had a hard drive on it with these symbols, and now they access the hard drive in this video, and it has this exe file, which when they activate it activated. What am I? What? When they
click on it.
when they run the file, these text boxes just show up.
The computer basically just crashes.
Yeah, the computer freaks out. 250 buyers and counting Ash is what
2,500.
2,500 buyers and counting Ash. Much more popular than the others.
Damn.
The next one says, I think they might be jealous. And then I don't want to watch that because a bunch of pictures of like people with bruises and stuff start popping up. So if you do end up going to this channel, just know that there is a big trigger warning for a lot of people.
It's pretty graphic.
It is pretty graphic. So then all these images pop up, and then the car guy, or who I assume is the car guy from the previous video, pulls up outside their window. You see the headlights in, and then this music starts getting louder and louder and starts drowning out her and her friends screaming. And then the video eventually cuts to black. And so that is, you're supposed to think like, oh my God, this is where she was kidnapped. What
is this video in the description this time?
The description video of this, the title is just an emoji of scissors, and you see a girl, presumably Ashvlogs or her friend, tied up in a room with the symbol. The symbol kind of looks like a stick figure kind of guy almost. With the symbol spray painted on the walls, and then a door opens. Someone comes in. You hear her screaming in the darkness, but it cuts to black right after the door opens. So now you're like, oh my God, this person is kidnapped. There's videos of who you're meant to believe the Uber driver is getting kidnapped. There's videos. There's later videos of her in the video called Face Reveal. It's her brother who it's called Face Reveal because now you can see his face. He like hands a phone to the guy and then gets stabbed. And then and then in the description video, you see him get like taken from the hospital.
He gets like put in a wheelchair and like gets rolled off from like the security footage.
Yeah, and then
creepy.
I can't remember if it's a main channel video or if it's a description video, but at one point the people are in a tent made of tarp, and you're like, oh, maybe it's the same place as before, and they drag a body in, and then they pour gasoline on the body and light the body on fire, and then you hear screaming. Obviously, it's not a real body because if this was all real, the police would have looked into it, but.
Or would they have?
And that's like, so that's a not so quick summary of Ashvlogs, just to give you like the gist and the feel of what ARGs are. And it's like, so this whole time people like it's just these little clues. It's like subtle storytelling if you're trying to follow along. And at one point, I think maybe the name of the video, or I know where she is, maybe has had a maybe he sent a cryptid message that people decoded. At one point, it's like she's under the floor. Is at one point, and so like that's the answer to the question.
Yeah,
so,
they're like really hard to decode, like right? Like,
yeah, they're
just
really.
Like
I didn't do like any of this like mystery solving myself because because they're honestly kind of hard to find like as they're ongoing. Because I mainly find them through other like YouTube channels talking about them. Like there's this channel Nexpo and Nightmind. They're really great channels if you're into this kind of stuff. So like the first ARG that I ever saw was called Everyman Hybrid, and it was one of the first ones that popularized Slenderman. And so like Ashvlog started out as a vlog channel. Everyman Hybrid started out as like an exercise channel, and in the background of video, there'd be like weird random glitches, and you'd be like, oh, whatever. In the background of videos, sometimes like you would see like the Slender Man. I don't think I need to describe what he looks like, but basically it was just the Slender Man, the tall guy. And eventually they just like got into this, they got trapped in a room at one point, and then they would only release videos very slowly, and I sort of lost interest at that point. Because that's the one of the thing about ARGs is they run out of steam pretty quickly. I had another one was called Hi, I'm Mary Mary. That was run by a friend of mine, actually.
Really?
And that one was pretty good. A lot of the YouTube channel I was talking about, Nightmind, it's a pretty popular channel, and he talked about it and was like, this is really great. And everyone in his comments was like, I don't think it's that good, but it was pretty good. I mean, like,
is it like popular? Online?
It's not too popular. She doesn't have that many views. Her being featured on that show definitely gave her a boost. She's got like 50,000 subscribers, so I guess she's pretty popular.
That's pretty good.
She's got some like this is not. Yeah. Oh wow. Nexpo also did Yeah, so there was a bunch of YouTube channels that did explaining her. So she actually got a lot more popular than I thought. I had, because she was telling me about it like right as she was doing it. So it hadn't gained that much traction yet. There was one, so Everyman Hybrid. There was one called White Rabbit, which was massive, which was like
White Rabbit. Wait a minute.
What?
Bringing it back to tricks.
Oh my God! Full circle, folks.
Yeah, seriously. Well, the one called White Rabbit, or maybe it was something with rabbit. You had to like. That one was really, really cool because it was global, well, like mostly global. Like obviously, if you're in the middle of the Sahara, they're not gonna like contact you. But it started out on online forums, and people would like contact this like rabbit guy who would like control people in a sense, and he would tell people what to do and like go places in public, and then people would go places in public and find clues, and like people would be like, I found this in New York City, it's a clue, and then post it to all the forums. And then somebody else would be like, oh my God, I found this one in like London or whatever. I don't know if it was that like grand scheme, but it was something along that one I'm not too sure about.
You know what this makes me want to start?
Make our
To
own.
start an ARG.
Is Brain Boggled an ARG?
Is Brain Boggled an
Find
ARG?
out.
Guys, I just got a text from Ben.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ben.
He said he couldn't make
The
it
third
today.
B that was
Wait,
is not
who's
here
Ben?
today.
Who's Ben?
I don't remember a Ben.
You mean Ben 10?
Ooh, Ben 10.
Ben 10?
But yeah, no, I mean, Brain Boggle could be an ARG. I was thinking, like, it'd be really funny. So Brent and I,
Yes.
you didn't know, we're video editors.
Yes.
We have
Oh,
video
Jack too.
editing.
What about Jack and also
Ethan.
Ethan?
We're all video editors to some degree.
Yes,
But
we
Brent and
have
I
our specialties and stuff.
yeah,
had a
yeah.
show.
Definitely.
I won't give the name away of the show yet.
Yes.
But we had a show on YouTube, and I was
Yes.
thinking, like, that could be really. What if we turned that into an ARG?
I mean, frankly, in certain ways, it started sort of
was.
turning into that by the end of it because it got real wild by the end because we kind of like just like lost steam for
Yeah.
like giving a shit anymore. So
It would be fun, though. That'd be really
Yeah,
fun.
there's just the thing. I loved it. There's something so compelling.
I want to do a
about
Tricks ARG.
a Tricks
Oh my
ARG,
God.
serial ARG,
Like a real one. Like it's
Looking-
like the commercials, like the really cheesy commercials, but like every commercial, it's kind of like Too Many Cooks.
So
you know,
all,
the
we
guy
have,
keeps
so
opening.
all we have to do is contact a production studio,
Have a few $1 million.
have a few $1 million to get our
Obviously. No,
thing
just
on the
pocket
on
change.
of
TV.
course, don't worry about it.
Speaking of Too Many Cooks, which is Adult Swim, right? That was aired on Adult Swim. Adult Swim is like a lot of people who make stuff for Adult Swim do ARG stuff very similar. Alan last name. I gotta look this up because people
Rickman,
not Alan Rickman. Rest in
Server Snape.
Alan.
People might think
he
you are
had this
up
channel
to something.
called.
Oh my God, Ethan's Alan Rickman is ridiculously good.
Alan
We need
Resnick.
Ethan on the show just for the impressions. Every now and then we gotta call in.
So this guy named Alan Resnick had an ARG channel called Alan Tutorial, and it was not. So this one was less interactive with the real world and more just like a very creepy way of telling a story. So it starts off as this is very timid man in a house. This is one of the like most popular ones of all time because this is one of the ones that was best done. He's in a house and his first video is like how to pick up a blue chair or something.
What?
And so it's literally he's like what you got to do is all you got to do is get down and grab the chair and you just got to pick it up. And he doesn't actually end up picking up the chair. And it's kind of really sad. And like one of the comments is like, will this work with a red chair? And he was like, no, it won't. It won't work. And so it's really like he has these weird things that are like how to get back into your house if you're locked out. And he's like on his roof and he's like trying to open a window into his house, and then he like looks over and he sees someone like going in through the main door who like you assume is like their caretaker or someone, because this character like very obviously has some mental issues. So the one that I mentioned before, how to get back in your house when you're locked out, when he sees that person, the video he panics and the video ends, and then his next videos are he's like outside on the run, and this is when it starts getting really, really weird. And like you can see his feet, and his feet are really gross, and his hands are really gross. And like progressively, as he's spending more and more time homeless outside, because I assume we just could never get back into his house. He eventually gets like kidnapped maybe or taken and put into this house where he is forced to do like every time he would make a tutorial video, he would get $1 slid under his door. And he eventually stopped making tutorial videos and was like, I'm going to do news videos now. And every time he would do news videos, the person would like bang on the door and yell. And every time he would then be like, just kidding, I'm actually going to do a tutorial video. And then another $1 would slide under the door. And at the end, he's got like, dude, the last video in this series is disgusting. He busts a hole through the wall. He like climbs out. You can see into this room that it's full of like crap, like actual crap and like bottles and just gross stuff. And he like leaves the room and it's like, oh, he finally escaped. And so it was by Alan Resnick, who also made this one where it was like this perfect simulation of a human head is one of his videos that was on Adult Swim, and unedited footage of a bear, which is another really messed up video. And once you like realize that he's like this performance artist kind of guy, you look into it deeper and you realize that Alan Tutorials was actually a commentary on YouTube as a whole, because it was about people who make a specific type of content that gets them really, really popular and does them and they have a lot of success with it.
And if they do anything,
but if they stray from that, people don't like it.
If they stray from that, people don't like it and they don't find the success. So they're forced to keep doing what works as opposed to doing what they want.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh my God, that's so a lot of them do like, that's why Alan Tutorial was so good, because it had a point to make. And all the ones that have points to make are the ones that are really good.
See, I sort of look at this sort of like, Breaking Bad, where they wrote the full story first and they knew how many seasons there was going to be. I feel like if you have the story and you have sort of the plot and like the peak of the story,
and you have like a real thing that it's about, or like
right,
representing
like some kind of like meaning to it, then it's probably a lot more interesting than just coming up with it on the spot.
Yeah.
But it's more realistic if it's on the spot, though.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, because you can write yourself like into a corner.
That's true. Which is sort of, it seems like, what Ashvlogs did.
I thought I heard how Breaking Bad would purposefully try to write themselves into corners. Like, unless you knew, like, did they know what the end would be?
Yeah.
Because I heard a few stories about how they would like write themselves into a cliffhanger purposefully and then like challenge themselves to figure out how to get out of it.
But they knew how it would end.
Yeah, so maybe that's
broad strokes. They knew how it would end. Not maybe the specific events that would lead to them, but like the broad strokes of where each character would be left in the end.
Gotcha.
Though, like, there was some definitely. I mean, not to get too far off, but like with Breaking Bad, like for example, Jesse was not. Spoilers for Breaking Bad if you haven't seen it. But I mean, Jesus Christ, just go watch it already. It's on Netflix. Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
But I don't care.
You guys.
Oh, you guys.
Well, I mean, this is not a huge spoiler, but one of the main characters, Jesse, was supposed to be killed in the first season. He was not supposed to survive.
And he's
all the way to the end.
Ended up being a main character.
He ended up being a main character throughout the whole series. And he was not even supposed to get out of the first season. But
let's just say you guys should watch The Leftovers and Breaking Bad.
Both great shows.
Leave it at that.
Shows to watch, dude. I'm not even caught
I have
up
a
in Game
whole
of
list.
Thrones yet.
Well, we'll let you finish that first.
Leftovers is. I love The Leftovers, but like it's tough.
Breaking Bad's more mainstream.
Yeah, Breaking Bad's maybe more entertaining in that it's more, it has more of like a typical structure where it's action packed.
Yeah.
There's like a plot that like maybe is easier to wrap your head around. Whereas Leftovers go some wild places, but it's really interesting and thought provoking, but also very like heavy and dark at times.
Oh yeah, it's heavy on the themes.
Yes, definitely.
Now, I want to talk about something with these ARGs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know this is probably crossed you guys' mind a little bit, but like, what if any of these were real? Like,
yeah, I mean, like,
how would anyone know?
Exactly.
Yeah, like that's the whole draw to them is I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
Well,
like obviously they're not.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you watch Ashvlogs like that, using
I know.
prime example, you can just tell it's not natural.
Yeah.
But
watching Alan Tutorial, it's like this might like this could be, before it gets kind of absurd. You could be you think that this is just some like unfortunate person doing this, and I think that's the big draw is that one of the reasons why I consume so much media, so many videos, and play so many video games and read fantasy novels is because I find the real world so incredibly boring, and so like I have to like escape from it. And I think one of the main draws to these is that it blurs the line between if this is real or not.
Right.
And like, so you can be like, maybe if this is in the real world, that's really interesting. And
that's when
really
the chills
cool.
come, when you kind of like, whoa, this could be real.
That's also where we have to make sure there is that line, as blurred as it may become, because we need to make sure people can distinguish the two. Not necessarily in this sense, like nothing bad is going to happen from this sense, but like where the lines do get too blurred and people can't distinguish the art forms from the reality, it can get kind of messy.
But isn't that beautiful though? Isn't that what they want? Like
it is beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? Was a little maybe in a little.
You sound like the Joker, Jack.
Yeah,
isn't it beautiful?
But like I think that Ashvlogs or the people who make these. Like
I think it's brilliant.
I know it is brilliant, but what I'm saying wouldn't how great of a compliment is that if like somebody called the cops because of your video?
That would be
well.
There
but
are
it
a
would
lot
get
of
you in
comments
trouble,
in these
like,
videos that are like, "Oh, there's some like weird things going on behind you. Did you notice that?" And it's like there are people commenting on this that don't know it's fake.
Yeah.
And that's really where it's kind of like, oh my god, these poor people. Like, but also I'm kind of jealous. it's like I would love to see this. Like, it'd be like, oh, this is so
to have
crazy.
people get that into it.
Yeah.
Is really
I
cool.
know.
Yeah.
Like it's so.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting episode of Brain Boggled because it's not our usual like reality crazy. It's
this could be reality,
but it's close enough.
Right.
To be real.
I feel like maybe the thrust of the podcast isn't necessarily to always be about, things that are crazy, just things that like really kind of like push your mind.
Anything that will boggle your
beyond
brain.
like the norm,
honestly.
it makes you think and like it boggles the brain. that was
rattles
a hard
your head.
Yeah,
There's a big wind up for that one.
I really went for it, but so I mean, I feel like this is well within the parameters of brain boggling
And this
because
is fun.
in a way, it's almost more boggling to a sense because like. With some of the crazy theories we talked about so far, I feel like most of us can read them and know pretty well that like this is fake.
Yeah.
This isn't real. I mean, maybe the people who believe them who come up with them think they're real, but we don't believe they're real.
Yeah.
We understand otherwise. But it gets a little bit trickier. It's a little more gray. You really have to be like, is this real? Is it not real? I don't know. I don't think it's real, but in some cases, it gets into that real gray area where you really have to think about it.
Yeah.
No, and
There's always that question of is it like you can be
Right.
99% certain it's fake, but there's always that
There's
little thing in the
always
back
that
of your mind that's like,
1%.
I don't know.
And if there's 100 ARGs out there, which one? Like, what is that? What is the one that's not? An
That's the
ARG?
thing. At that point, is it an ARG? Because like, there's certain videos, right? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, where I remember back in the day, back like a couple years ago, when I was really into like just YouTube news, and like I would just watch
Keemstar?
Yeah, like Killer Keemstar, like stuff like that. I would just see like what's up with YouTube, and for a while there were these conspiracies going around that like certain vloggers were like actually like being held hostage, but it wasn't in like an ARG thing. It was people were be like, is this person okay? Like they're acting very weird.
I saw some of that. What was the?
I forget
big
what the
one?
YouTuber was.
Yeah, there was a big one.
It was some girl that was just like vlogging.
Was it? I don't want to say Justine. I don't think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
I feel like it was a female vlogger though.
Right. We should after we take our break, we should do some
Right.
research.
I think I know Trevor. Like she wasn't started like it turned out to just be like some actress who was just doing kind of like a weird vlog thing, and like she started making it more weird and weird over time, and people were like, "What the hell's going on with this?"
It might be. Let me look.
I don't know.
Into it.
I mean, you guys are more into the YouTube world than I am. Like, for me, I know. I'm an old man. I'm a Gary Oldman, and like when I was coming up, YouTube was just a place where you saw weird meme videos. And people were like, stopped you in the middle of a party. I was like, "Hey, dude, we have to watch Drinking Out of Cups." And you're like, "What the hell is Drinking Out of Cups?" And then next thing you know, you're just going, "Yeah, right. This guy's being a bitch for the next 3 months." But like that's what all YouTube was to me back in those days. So like I did not like. come up with like all these vloggers and stuff like you guys have this certain level of knowledge.
Marina Joyce.
Yes, that name brings.
I don't think that's who I was thinking of, but
No,
fair
but
enough.
this one was
who I
weird.
was thinking of.
But this is one of those. Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like it. I don't know if it was just a really great ARG story that she was trying to like do.
It's really wild how these mess with people's heads. Like,
Right. Didn't she like disappear? Like, didn't she like actually stop making videos? Or is she still doing it? Looks like she's still doing it.
When was her last video released?
6 days ago.
Oh, so she's totally still active.
But for a while there, people were like, is she being like held captive and stuff?
Yeah, this is kind of this interesting area we're still at with the internet, where like you still at times don't really know what to trust what you see, because like when the internet first started coming around, you're kind of like, oh, just all this information is at my fingertips. Everything I find is just the truth. I'm going to go to Wikipedia and just trust that everything I read is 100% accurate.
Wikipedia gets a bad rap, and you can
Wikipedia is actually
no, that was bad.
reliable.
It's a great source, but like people.
No, but point taken.
People kind of
yeah.
like take it as like a tried and true. It can never be wrong.
No,
It's
definitely.
but it's like, well, it's crowdsourced by people, and
Yeah,
people
exactly.
can make mistakes and misrepresent information. And there's like literally jokes where people like will like bum rush someone's like Wikipedia page and make it say like they smell like farts or something like that.
I literally
just to,
made
like,
a fake
got it.
Wikipedia page,
Yeah,
and tricked my high school Spanish teacher into thinking that Rice Krispie treats were made in Spain, and I made
This is
them
actually
for
a really
class.
funny story. Yeah,
Like,
it's
so oddly
It just goes to
specific.
show you, like,
yeah, just
it
to
was
like
very
just
specific.
to get through a project. But so like there's still this like element of the internet, Wild West sort of thing, where like it's so easy to kind of like take everything at face value and just like trust that like, well, if I'm reading this, it must be true, or if I'm seeing this, it must be true, because that's just we kind of like implicitly trust the internet in this way,
Which is really strange because it's really very often so wrong, but we
Right.
still just want to trust
But
it.
I mean, this sort of like it's almost like a carryover from like it's the same thing with like the news, like and past generations where
Well,
it's
yeah.
like everything you see on the news must be true, and we were like
know.
kind of more and more discovering like, well, there's a lot of different elements behind what you see on TV and the news, and
Yeah, it's like
there's certain stories make it out for reasons and stuff, and things are presented a certain way for reasons based on interests of whatever. So like it's just we're kind of like as the internet's both shedding light on some of these things, and yet at the same time I think we're in this weird transitional period where sometimes it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't.
Well, we're gonna have to do a deepfakes episode coming up,
Jesus, deepfake scares the shit out of me,
because
dude.
this is like where this could get into a whole other level,
Yeah, deepfakes
like this
is
could be
scary stuff. Ethan, you look confused. Do you know what deepfakes is? Oh, it's kind of like this new thing that's being developed. This sort of like computer programming sort of algorithm situation where they can kind of like
creepy.
this algorithm can sort of collect different videos and pictures of say like a person. Like there's like examples out there you can find of, like Barack Obama, for instance, and it just kind of the algorithm collects these images and videos of this person, and you can then almost like get it to generate a video of this person talking.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard of
And
it.
it's not real,
Which
but
is
it looks
wild,
very
like-
convincing.
Yeah, you can use source. It uses sample videos and source videos. So the sample videos put together like Barack Obama talking, and then you would give it a video of say like a scene from like Inglorious Bastards, right? And then it would spit out like perfect, like it's super hard. Like you could, if you looked at it and didn't realize it was a deep fake, you would think it's a real video of like Barack Obama just quoting Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah, it's so creepy, and they use it for a lot of weird,
a lot of weird stuff. There's a lot of
I mean, if you let your mind just kind of wander
Yeah.
with that thought for a minute, you can think of some of the applications that people
exactly.
use this for.
And, like it's very dangerous because like
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're going to have
Wait,
people
not.
being accused of crimes and everything that
Anyway.
they didn't commit when they
Yeah.
pornography. I'm just gonna say
Yeah,
it.
well,
We're
yeah,
all
yeah.
saying it. Might as well say it because there's gonna be that one person who's like, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pornography. It's putting
Well, I mean, that's
actors and
definitely- that's
actresses'
already-
But I mean,
faces.
the
Used.
implications. I mean, obviously, politically too. Like
That's
they
true.
say
Exactly.
with politics, like, oh yeah, but like, look, you said this thing at this point. So what? You are a race. You're a Nazi now.
Yeah.
So,
Like,
but
you
it's like,
could
well,
literally-
no, I didn't say that. Well, there's video of you saying
Yeah,
it.
Exactly.
So
Which is it needs to be regulated, but the problem is it can't be because
Yeah.
it's the internet and everything can go
and it's this
everywhere.
gray
It's up to
area
us to be
because like it's like the
what do we
internet is
believe?
also this great thing that's given us so much creative outlets like ARGs
Yeah.
and all kinds of amazing things and all this
It's
great
also
stuff. So, but at the same time,
quite
there's
a
all
weapon.
it can be this crazy weapon too for your bad.
And none of
But
us
then
would
it's like,
have
how
jobs
do you
right
regulate
now.
it in a way where it doesn't like stifle creativity and then also just end up benefiting Facebook and like giant corporations and
Yeah.
stuff
And I
like that,
think-
and you will still allow that creativity to
It's
foster.
it's up to us as the consumer.
It's up to you. I'm
up to
pointing at the
you.
metaphorical you who's listening right now. I'm
Brent's
literally
fingers
pointing
at the mic-
out
at the
the
microphone.
window
Pointing
right
it
now.
out the window.
You, this giant oak tree that I can see from here. It's up to you. But no, yeah, it's
Yeah, you kind of got
it's
to take
wild
everything
stuff.
with a grain of salt, but like it is fun to indulge in
It
these
is.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun, and again, that's just one of the main draws is that it's fun. It's fun to believe. Like when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a wizard. I would have given anything in
Same.
the world to be a wizard.
I wanted to be a Pokemon master.
wizard, Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
everyone
Who
wanted to be a
didn't?
wizard,
Yeah.
or everyone wanted to be an elf, and that's you know what? That's why I love like people who just like people who like do LARPing.
Yeah.
like that seems like
Do you
so
LARP,
much
Jack?
fun. No, I've
should
never LARPed, and I would love to do it because it seems like so much fun to just like pretend to be like an orc with a big old axe.
Well, so that's why D&D is fun.
D&D is great because it lets you be, and like stuff like this is great, and media is just a great thing because you get to lose yourself and you get to
Jack,
escape.
you're starting
from
to
the
sound
world.
like Gene Ray a little bit here.
I'm not Gene Ray. Here's the thing, though.
Everything's boring. You unicorns.
Mine are healthy outlets.
Yes.
Gene Ray,
Brain boggled is our
brain
outlet.
boggled is seriously because
Yeah.
it's a place where you get to just talk about stuff.
I'd like to get even crazier and crazier as we get on with the show too. Like
Well, I'm
if you,
sure we will.
If you at home have any kinds of crazy stories or ideas that we should look into and research for our next episode,
yeah.
so
Send us a
please email
topic.
us.
Like the more niche, the more
Brain Boggled
underground.
Podcast
Yes.
at gmail.com.
You got
Brain-
it. Brain Boggled Podcast.
Got it right.
At gmail.com.
Brain Boggled Podcast at gmail.
Brain Boggled Podcast at gmail. I just want to do every different emphasis you can do.
Brain
Boggled.
Boggled Podcast. There you go. Yeah, I mean, because we'd love to talk more about these interesting topics. ARGs are a fun one because you kind of you gotta like go explore it yourself to really get
Yeah,
the
That
chills.
is that is
There's
actually
so
a
many-
really underrated element of this is sort of like the discovery element. of it. You
Self-exploration.
feel
We can sit here and talk about it as
Yeah.
much as we
No,
want. but,
seriously, because it's so like a movie. You sit there and watch it. A book.
It's
you
a
sit there
passive
and read
experience.
it.
This is an active
This one you
experience.
got to go looking
Yeah.
and like. I mean, obviously, if you're not in like that, you just sort of automatically find the good ones because instead of sitting through a bad movie, if it doesn't draw you in, you just go look for a better ARG.
right.
And I stand by my original statement that Tricks was an ARG. I really do. So
in what sense, though?
So
back
when
to
I
the
was a
Tricks.
kid, right? Just let me just explain this to you. Like this gave me the same feeling as a kid. So like they would come up with a commercial and like, oh, the Tricks rabbit is stolen the Tricks again, and then like one episode, and by episode I mean commercial. One commercial, he got hit on the head with a coconut, and he lost his memory.
What?
And so everyone's like, is he faking it? Did he really lose his memory? And he started
God.
he started jumbling like nonsense, like and everyone was
Speaking
like,
in tongues.
what is he saying? And so as a kid, that just freaked me out. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go decode this.
And it'd
so-
be on the back of the box, and you'd be like, "Can you unscramble?
Yeah.
Can you unscramble the crazy rabbit's crazy madman rambling?"
How do you remember that? That's like almost the exact quote. Do you remember, do you remember this?
No, I
That's
mean,
like the exact quote.
Well, it's just like because that's what's like everything. It's like, can you? Captain Crunch dropped his inkwell in the ink splatter. Can you clean up the letter and see what it says?
It's just super creepy because like you would be like, okay, is he trying to trick these kids? Because the whole tricks is for kids thing is kind of weird. Like,
I don't think it
silly
is.
rabbit. It's not for you.
a marketing
I think it's
campaign.
a
It's
marketing
elitist.
ploy.
It's very
It's
elitist
elitist.
tricks.
It's
supposed to be
kids.
like
I
tricks
don't,
are for
I don't
kids
fuck
and-
with tricks because it's elitist.
But like that's
because they are uninclusive.
It's just
I
very
am
interesting.
20 years old.
and like the silly rabbit's trying to steal
want
them. And so like
tricks.
I remember just spending days just like doing research and like trying to like figure out what this says. And I figured out it was in the elephant's trunk. And you find out that he hid it like in the elephant's trunk. And it's like
coconut or the
super creepy.
tricks?
The tricks. And so you find out he had his memory the whole time. It was just like, I don't know. It's just that feeling you get when you're like kind of like exploring like secretive things. I mean, it's fun. I mean, we kind of always have been trained sort of to like have that like discovery side of our brains, even from little kids. That's why they do it with cereals, because they know it's fun for us. And as an adult, it's kind of cool to
little
see
kids.
us little kids, and it's kind of cool as an adult to see that there's like this new version of that. I don't know. I wish there was
much more
wild
horrible
version,
much
of
more
it.
creepy, but I wish there was more. You know, I want more.
More what? More ARGs?
More ARGs.
There's a bazillion of them, dude.
All right, well, I'll have to do some.
There's
some
so
more research.
many of them. It's hard to find. It's again, it's hard to find live ones because ones that start out are usually not that popular.
Right.
So it's easier to find them after they've like been active for a bit.
Sure.
But it's still great to like go through and like just find ones that have already been established and like go through the story.
Yeah,
And stuff.
I know what you mean. And then some of them, it's tough to find ones that like maintain the steam. Like, because I was like actually listen, we're doing a podcast right now. I was listening to a podcast called the Black Tapes podcast, which is a similar sort of thing. It was basically started out this whole idea of this, hey, we're setting up this podcast where we're just kind of take a look at paranormal stories and stuff. And then like they kind of meet this guy who like used to work for this university, and he kind of got shunned by the university because like his whole thing was like he was proving like all of these like things to be fake or whatever. And then you come to find out that he has these like 10 tapes they calls the black tapes that he hasn't been able to prove that are wrong yet. And then like the woman who's doing the podcast starts investigating. I was like, well, let me see these tapes. I want to see what you can't prove is wrong. And then over the course of it, all of a sudden you start to see that all these tapes are related. And then like there's this kind of mystery unfolds. But then the problem it ran into is that because the podcast became really popular, they kind of were like, all right, well, we got to keep it going.
Right.
And so I was like, well, how long can we keep this mystery going for before it just feels like you're dragging your heels?
Well, you know what this
so like
reminds
I
me
never
of?
finished it because I was like, oh, it started for like the first like 2 seasons. We're like, wow, this is really cool. And then by the time it was
Yeah.
like the 3rd season, I'm like, we're really not wrapping this up yet.
Does,
Like,
does
where are
anyone
we going
has
with
anyone
this?
ever like investigated like Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yes.
In the lore.
No,
So,
that's before my time.
it's-
after my
it's
time.
kinda
it's
recent.
It's kind of.
I'm stuck
Came
in
out
time.
like 3 years ago, right?
Time's
And
relevant.
it's
after me and Bobby too.
So
Yeah,
We're
it's
a little
we're
old.
just like adult children, but basically it's just like this video game. It's like this creepy video game,
Yeah.
and there's this lore behind it, and people would go into the lore and try and discover like secrets and all this stuff, and it's very similar to what you're saying. Like it got super popularized, and
It could be classified as an ARG.
right, it could be. And I think Scott Cawthon, the guy who made the game, he was really great at keeping it going for a while, but eventually it just like got to the point where it's like, okay, this is overkill. And it kind of killed it.
What was the one like
towards the end.
sister incident or whatever?
The sister one, what sister location?
Sister location
which was
after
good, but
but that was like after that it was like, okay, this is kind of
yeah. And he kept being like, "This was the last one," and then he would make another one, and now they're coming out with a movie, and it's just it's really hard to keep something like that going too long,
Right.
even with money. I mean, like sometimes a story just needs to end where it ends.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
money can only get you as far as your creativity,
As your
can get you.
imagination.
Yeah, well, like actually though, because you could have all the money in the world and not know what to do with it.
Right. I mean, a story's meant to have an arc. And so if you're making like one of these things as meant to be a story, like an interactive story, you need to have an arc where it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And when you just keep it going for too long, eventually, the arc starts to kind of here and it kind of curves down. And it's just like slowly going, and all of a sudden it's past where it should end. And it's just
Right.
going down
It's
past
not
the
a
slope.
story
down,
anymore.
It's going down
down.
past the slope into the negative numbers of the.
That's not a story. Now it's just boring old
You're past the
life.
x-axis.
Boring fan service.
Well,
That's all
guys,
it gets to.
I think we're almost about to hit an hour, so
I was about
just
to
want
say,
to
speaking of gunk, just keeping
you.
going.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We just keep going and
thank
going.
you so much for watching.
Thank you all.
Go.
Episode of Brain Boggled Podcast.
Brain Boggle. We're
Yeah.
streaming on Spotify.
Hey,
we're streaming on.
We're on iTunes
going-
now or at
am I
Apple
coming-
Podcasts.
Am I coming in and out, guys?
Shut up, Bobby.
Get out of here.
Thank you for listening. We're streaming on Spotify. We're streaming on Apple Music, right? Apple Music,
Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast.
Wherever it should be on pretty much wherever you can get your podcast now.
Spotify.
I know the first
Wherever.
episode wasn't available on like Apple Podcast when we first released it. We kind of like literally recorded the episode. We're like, let's put this out now.
Yeah.
and then
But-
didn't realize it took like 2 weeks to get it approved by
But
Apple.
now everything's all set.
Yep.
So give us a rating on that. It helps
Yes.
out a lot.
It really does.
Especially because good since we're just starting out. Tell your friends. I've been
friends.
telling all my family.
Do it.
Samies.
Shout out to my mom. She loves the podcast. She says she called me.
Hi, Jack's mom.
She called me
Hello,
a
Jack's mom.
podcast genius.
Wow.
So-
High
What did she
praise.
call me? Did she
High
call me
praise.
anything?
Well, she doesn't know you guys, so she didn't really say anything about that.
Call
But
us
I
a
love
bunch
you,
of
mom.
squeeze.
Yeah, she was like, "Why was he a squee? I didn't. The Mueller reports. I don't." No, I'm kidding. But
We want to thank our special guest, Ethan.
thank
Yes,
you
thank
for
you
being
all
here.
for
having me.
Ethan.
Thank you for
Hopefully I
your
can come-
sick Alan Rickman impression.
Yeah,
Yes, of
hopefully we can get
course.
you on
Worth the
again.
price of admission alone for that.
And
Yeah,
thank,
Ethan will be back in the summer. We'll get him
thank
back.
you to our
I'd love to be
sponsor,
back.
Yes.
Olive Garden.
Yes.
Olive
thank you,
Garden.
Olive Garden.
Maybe
Garden.
MeUndies. I'm wearing one of their hats. Please sponsor us.
Anyone,
Please
literally,
sponsor us.
we'll take literally anything if anyone wants.
If you want to send us a singular breadstick in the mail,
We'll take that.
we will take it.
We will be
we're
your
hungry.
corporate shill. We do not care.
we will be the best advertisers on the face of the planet. I have absolutely no integrity.
Bye.
I will sell out anything you want.
Same.
This has been our podcast. We
Yes.
hope your brain has been boggled. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.